Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in today. Today we are continuing the series and we are going to be talking about Laird and Yvette. This is going to be a complete breakdown of the core talents of these heroes. I'm going to recommend some of the best skills that you can use with these two heroes. I'm also going to go into what equipment you should use and the mounts you should use, the mount skills you should go for. And I'm going to explain it all to try and not only show you what is best for this hero combination, but also try and teach you along the way. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. If I can find my Laird, I think he's all the way up here at the top. So here's my Laird. He is going to be probably the first legendary hero that you start to upgrade. Everyone in the game that I've almost met has had Laird maxed out. He's going to be one of your main fighters for a good portion of the game until you get into Season 1, 2, 3, and 4, or Season X as they call it. So let's break down his core talent. So he's going to increase deployed troops' shield by 25%. So what is a shield? So a shield on your troops when they're attacking, basically you're not going to receive as much damage as you would if you didn't have a shield. So it reduces the damage you take and he increases that by 25%. So going down to his 3rd star talent, when deployed troops are targeted by a basic attack, there's a 20% chance to deal damage factor, nothing crazy. But then when you get to his 6-star skill, he's going to reduce basic attack damage that he takes, and he's also going to increase his counterattack damage. So lots of people consider a lot of the pikeman heroes in this game to be what are called counterattack troops. So to answer your question, if you're kind of newer in the game, feel free to skip around if you're a little more developed. But what is counterattack? So now let's say I'm going to send my counterattack heroes, which in this case is not going to be what we're talking about today, but I'm going to be using these two heroes just to show you the example of what counterattack is. So I'm going to attack a target, and then I'm also going to attack another target. Okay, so just wait for this to hit, and then I'll explain. So now see how my troop is attacking him, and he's taking 2,800. He's getting active skill damage done to him in the red. This guy over here is only receiving counterattack damage. So that is what counterattack damage is. It's basically when you're being attacked or you are attacking someone else and they're not attacking you back or you aren't attacking them back. Then they are only going to receive counterattack damage. And a lot of these pikeman heroes are meant to try and boost that. So they're very tank-like. They take a lot of damage because of that counterattack damage boost. So let's find Yvette. Yvette's a little harder to unlock as the only way to get her is through buying her, unfortunately. But she is going to be your first legendary pikeman hero that you would want to pair with Laird. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So Yvette, she is a healing hero. So not only does Laird kind of provide you with shielding and he boosts counterattack damage, you're going to combine him with a healing hero that is going to constantly heal your march. So when you receive healing, there's a 25% chance to deal direct damage. And then down here, when your deployed troops deal counterattacks, which you're trying to go for, right? Pairing them with Laird, you're trying to be counterattacked a lot. There's a 20% chance to deal an additional damage factor. So she does a lot of damage when she is being healed, which she does. If you look at her active skill damage, she is constantly healing your troops right here with her passive skill damage. That's why they're so great together. It's because she does a lot of damage when she's being healed and when she's being counterattacked, which is what you're also going for when it comes to Laird. So what are some of the best skills that you can use? This is a great tool. If you ever look around in this, try and find some hero combinations that you want to try and pair up with. And it recommends like some decent skills. But for this video, we're going to dive into the best skills that you can use. So the first one, because you are going to try and be boosting your counterattack damage, is going to be Shield Reflector. So this skill does not boost your basic attack damage at all. It only increases your counterattack damage. So if your pikes are constantly being targeted, this is the skill you want to use. It's going to superly increase your counterattack damage, and when this skill is activated, you're going to deal a lot of damage. So Shield Attacker, that's another one, because as we all know that Laird gives you a shield, so when your troops have a shield, there's a 45% chance or whatever to deal a direct damage. So that's why you want to use that one. Moving down the list here, I'm just giving you guys probably 5 or 6 different skills that you can use based on where I think you are in the game. I'm not going to go over everyone. These are just the best 5 or 6 for you to try and get unlocked. Moving down the list here, shield support. That's another good one to use when you're in the beginning of the game. Every 9 seconds, it's going to actually give you a shield, which, as you know, greatly benefits Laird because he's going to boost this by 25%. Hymn of Life. This is one of the better skills in the game. If you can get this one unlocked, you're going to want to throw this thing on Yvette as fast as possible because every time you're receiving a basic attack, there's a 20% chance for your troops to be healed. And as we know, Yvette does additional damage when she is being healed. So that is why you want to pair that up with Yvette. I know I'm missing some right now because I probably have them equipped. Just give me a second here. I'll give you some more. Awakening, that's another decent one. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but it definitely will help out a lot in the arena. Divine Blessing, this is what I was looking for. This is the best pikeman skill you can use before you get to Seasons 2, 3, and X. When you enter the battle, you're going to take 30% less damage. And that's a lot when you're trying to boost counterattack damage, meaning you think you're going to get swarmed a lot. So that is probably one of the better skills that you can use early on in the game. Loki's Trick, that's another really good one, because when you are doing counterattack damages, all this stuff down here is going to happen. So that's kind of why you want to pair it with Laird, because you're going for counterattacks. And then there is one epic skill that I would recommend if you are struggling to get some of the legendaries. And I'm blanking right now. That's going to be Halo of Thorns. So this one's going to reduce the normal attack you're doing, but it's going to increase your counterattack damage. So if you're in KVK and you're just throwing pikes around left and right, I would highly recommend throwing this on there because when they get swarmed, it's going to do a lot of damage if you combine this with Shield Reflector. So those are some of the best skills that you can use. The reason I mentioned Awakening is when they receive healing, you're going to purify all your buffs. That's just why, because Yvette, she does a lot of healing. So that is why she is another good one. Chance of Reversal. When they receive healing, there's a 25% chance to deal a direct damage. This one isn't crazy, but it does recover you some rage. This one isn't amazing, but if you don't have any of the others that I recommended, I would probably try and go for that one. Throw that in there, see how that works out for you. Going into equipment, when it comes to monster gear, which a lot of you are probably unlocking right now, you probably don't have the blessed equipment in, but we'll go over that in a second. The shield you want to use is the Tusked Hammer. It's going to give you a bunch of pikeman attack and some pikeman defense. For your helmet, you're going to want to use this furry savage headgear. It's going to give you a lot of pikeman defense, but you're going for counterattacks. So you want to try and boost your defense a lot. This isn't a type of march that you're just going to get a ton of damage out of. When it comes to your headpiece, you're going to want to use the Sunset Cape. It's going to give you the most amount of stats out of all of the other armor sets or headsets, whatever it looks like to you. And then for your footwear, you're going to want to use the Ripper's Greaves. So again, it just gives you the most amount of percentage. Like if you were to do the alternative and try to do pikeman defense, you'd only be getting 5% right now if you got it up to epic. So that's why I'm recommending this one. And then when it comes to your blessed equipment, you want to build your headgear and your shoes first, because look at how much statistics I'm getting for this. I'm getting 20 attack and 12.5 defense. And then if I go up here and take a look at the armor vest, all I'm getting out of this is pikeman health. Like, it's really not as good as the headpiece and the armor piece down there. So even this one, the blessed gear here is 13.5 and 1.5%. Like, it's nothing crazy compared to the stats that you'll get out of your headpiece here, like 10, 8.5, 3.25. So you get a lot more out of these two. So get these two first. I would say get all your monster gear up to blue. Try to get it to epic. But once you have the ability to get a headpiece or a shoe piece of blessed gear up to blue, build it and replace it. That's kind of the rule of thumb. And then once you can get these top two pieces in blessed equipment up to epic, then that's when you want to start swapping out the monster gear. Otherwise, just keep the monster gear. It's not going to be worth the switch. So that's how you should build your equipment. You got any questions about anything so far, feel free to let me know down below. I'd be happy to respond and try and help the best I can. When you go into your mount, you are primarily focusing on defense, but for my pikemen personally, I've got 1 attack and 1 defense. It keeps me very well rounded, especially because I'm attacking with these guys and I'm trying to defend with these guys as well. If you just stacked up on defense, I'm going to tell you, you're probably not going to do a lot of damage with these guys. but you'll be able to take a beating. But once you get later in the game, you'll kind of find out that lots of people attack your archers first, and then they'll attack your infantry. They don't really touch your pikemen a whole lot because they know they're built for defense. But early on in the game, and even to now, I would recommend an attack and a defense mount. So when it comes to the skills that you're going to use, they're going to be a little different from mine, but you're going to try and boost your counterattack damage. So this is a great one, Legendary Hoof Strike. That's going to be your best counterattack damage dealing skill. And then for your other one, because you're going to pair it with Yvette, you want it to be a healing skill. You can't have two of the same skills. They won't work. Only one's going to work if you have two of the same skills. So they have to be different skills. And that's why I'm going to recommend a healing skill attribute for your Yvette mount. And so that way you're boosting both heroes with your mounts. So that's what I got for you today. That's the complete breakdown of Yvette and Laird. Let me know down below if it was helpful. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next one.